So everyone is talking about it, ladies and gentlemen, the impending nerf of the Corsair, where supposedly the lower two size 5 guns are going to be set under the control of the co-pilot only, that's sitting underneath the pilot in the additional cockpit down there. And there are certain opinions about this, but whether or not it's going to happen, it seems rather likely, but at the same time, I hope not, okay? Some people say, what are you surprised about? This has been said from the early days, and it's not true. That is actually not true. It was not communicated beforehand that the Corsair would lose 2 of those size 5 guns only to the co-pilot. In fact, the text specifically specified that in the future, you will have the option to delegate the lower 2 size guns to the co-pilot. It was supposed to be an option. It was never communicated that it's going to be happening. All right? We all know that the Corsair kind of has too much firepower, or it seems to be at least, that there is a ridiculous amount. It's the by far highest from one player controlled firepower in the game, and that is also how the Corsair has been sold, you know? So it's difficult. While I also find myself thinking that, hey man, the Corsair is so powerful, I almost don't want to fly anything else. While I see that too, at the same time, it is a matter of principle for me and many of you too, that if you buy something for a certain amount of real world money that is described to be as this and this, right? To have the ability of the highest from one player controlled firepower in the game, and then suddenly that very ability is being taken away later without offering you an instant refund, that is something that I would expect from the mobile gaming industry. This is not something that I want to see from a company that wants to write AAA on their flag and that asks a $50 price tag to even be able to play in the first place. This Reddit post here is discussing the exact same issue. The Corsair pilot can now only fire 2 of its main guns. This was confirmed as intended by CIG, and there is one clear opinion on that: people don't like it, right? Here, for example, why would I ever want a co-pilot to be in charge of fixed weapons firing in the same direction as what I'm already controlling? This doesn't make any sense, right? So that the co-pilot has something to do, huh? The co-pilot already is controlling the remote turret, makes no sense. Plus, the co-pilot has full access to the ship missiles armament, so he is very busy down there and has apparently even the role of engineer or something. And if anyone from CIG is here, please, for the love of God, listen to the people. This change is awful and forces everyone to leave the Corsair for Connies. And for those of us that own one, it's an awful choice. And also, in my edition, it's unfair since it was sold this way. This person says, please tell me that's a joke. But next one says, sadly, it is not. There is still a chance it might not make it, but it looks that way, apparently. This is something we can see happening in mobile free-to-play games that don't charge up front but then finance or monetize this way. And I always want to see CIG as being way above that and way better than this. But in terms of the Corsair, I'm really getting worried because I see this as a very likely outcome, that the lower size 5s, because right now it says they're not fixed as the upper one, they're like more mobile and they're supposed to be controlled by the co-pilot, but it was, like I said, never communicated that it's going to be happening only like that, but it was supposed to be an option for you to give this control over to the co-pilot. I'm not saying it's guaranteed to happen, I wouldn't know that, I just hear everyone talking about it and it seems to be the direction it's taking from what I hear. And I just want to make this video here in prophylactically? Is that even a word? Prophylactically, like in advance, to discuss the option and maybe find other ideas together with you later in the comments, and see what you think. And I'm really hoping that CIG might not pull through with it, because I really don't want to see StarCitizen going this way that's known in mobile games where, you know, every 3 months you release a new meta that's significantly much more powerful than the previous, everybody buys it, and then you release the next meta after that will replace the previous by literally nerfing what was sold previously, and to make the new one more attractive and take over, right? And basically the nerf has to happen in that case, because if you don't nerf it, there's this power creep where every meta is so and such more powerful, and then the rest of the game will become completely obsolete, right? So in order to prevent that, they have to nerf the previous meta in these mobile games and make the new one stand out and be the most attractive one. And this is something, again, CIG and Star Citizen hopefully never really makes a practice. If something stands out as being way too aggressive or powerful, and this can happen, no question. But in that case, if it has to be nerfed and it was previously sold, in my opinion, then there has to be a refund option offered, because real-world money was spent, and it can't be that you simply take away what people have purchased previously, right? I always use this comparison and say you're never gonna buy a 6-cylinder car and with such like 300 horsepower or whatever, and then 2 years later the company selling it to you decides we're making a software update. Now the car only runs on 4 cylinders and you have only 150 horsepower or 200 now. You would never accept that either, and it is in every marketplace situation on earth. You would never accept something like this, but somehow in video games, specifically mobile games, this is like a common practice that people are getting absolutely robbed of their investments by subsequent nerfing of the content they purchased earlier. And again, Star Citizen, in my opinion, has to be better than this, and CIG has to be better than this, because we want to see a great game where balancing is an important key aspect, but not at the expense of those who finance the whole game and keep the studio lights running. Right? That should never become something common here. Now, though, looking at the Corsair and how dominant it is and how much I basically don't want to fly anything else because it's so good, what ideas do you maybe have, guys? Maybe let's gather some ideas. What could happen with the Corsair to bring it a little more in line with what the rest of the content has, without taking necessarily away what makes the Corsair what it is, or what takes away the reason we got it in the first place, you know? Maybe there is an alternative way that Star Citizen haven't, or CIG hasn't considered yet. Maybe we can find a way. I'm not sure really, because the firepower is being nerfed, and the firepower is the one thing that made the Corsair be exactly what it is today. Yeah, we see, for example, that the Andromeda category, the Constellation class will get buffed, right? They will get, they already got buffed in a recent patch where they get 4 times size 5. And then now they get an increased turret size, soon size 3 instead of size 2 for the manned turrets. So there is some effort made here to bring it more in line, right? And maybe the Corsair nerf that we're speaking about is the other side of it. But again, I feel like there has to be something else happening. What ideas do you have, guys? See you around, and thank you all for watching. Catch you in the next video, and Manni signing off. Bye-bye.